بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلوات على سيدنا وحبيبنا المصطفى الأمين صلى الله عليه وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all my audience, brothers and sisters who are watching ITV, your station, to get Islamic relevant news from all around the world. Again, Assalamu alaikum wa Ramadan Kareem. My name is Afaf Nasher. I'm an attorney and the executive director for CARE New York. CARE New York stands for the Council on American Islamic Relations, and we are a civil rights organization. We fight discrimination against Muslims, Muslim brothers and sisters just like yourself. ITV has been kind enough to allow us to do several episodes on relevant topics that should matter to you and certainly matter to us. And the reason they matter to all of us is because of the kind of work that CARE New York performs for the Muslim Ummah right here in New York. And although we're talking about topics that are relevant to what we're seeing, it's also relevant to you. Because as Muslim brothers and sisters, not only do we care for one another and support one another, but we are all united under La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah. So, what does that actually mean in terms of the work that's performed, and how can we work together? Well, if we are united under the Shahada, La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah, that means that those words are not just words. Those words move us into action. How do they move us into action? Well, first and foremost, we have to be united in our efforts that concern the Muslim Ummah, both locally and abroad. And to be united, it means we put aside any political differences. It means we put aside even cultural differences, and in fact, we unite under the Islamic values that the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us. Now, I'm not a scholar and imam, so I won't go into specifics about theology. What I will say is that, alhamdulillah, we have a robust community here in New York that's made up of so many different ethnicities, so many racial backgrounds. My brothers and sisters who are watching outside of America, we have Muslims that have been in America since before America became an actual country, right? We have Muslims that have just come recently. We have every language spoken, especially in New York City. And alhamdulillah, we're able to unite and to fight for causes that matter to us. I'll give you one example. In New York City, we wanted the government to recognize Eid holidays for all our public students. And for years, we were fighting politically in order to make sure that our students are able to take a day off and to celebrate Eid with their families at the end of Ramadan and, of course, for Eid al-Adha. And that was a long, long battle. It took many years. But in that battle, we saw Muslims across different areas throughout New York City come in one unified voice. And all of us pushing together, we're eventually able to push the mayor's office to grant us that opportunity in which Islam was recognized officially through the celebration of Eid holidays for our children. Now, I want you to consider something. This is not just a political move, but it's indeed, inshallah, a profession of our strength towards the younger generations too. Because for the first time in New York City history, our students are not choosing between going to school and missing their class and perhaps missing an examination, or saying, I'm Muslim, I have every right to celebrate Eid. Now, I want to let you in on something for those of you that, again, are watching from abroad. Our New York City public schools were already having days off for other major religious holidays. For example, Christians didn't celebrate Christmas. We would have winter break off and students were off. There were many Jewish holidays on the New York City public school calendar. But for Muslims, we were not receiving that recognition, in part because we weren't as politically powerful as we're gaining now. Now there's a lot more political momentum within the Muslim community. But it was also because we needed to come in under one unified voice. I'm very proud of the Muslim community. I'm proud of the message that we've sent to our youth. I'm proud of showing them by example that we can leave the differences behind of culture, political thinking, or anything else, and we can come together for their sake and for Islam's sake to say we too deserve the recognition to have Eid recognized in public schools, and our kids can stay home and celebrate without having to miss an exam. One other point and benefit to this was the fact that in a way, it was also da'wah work, because all the other students in public schools, including the teachers and principals, now got to understand who Muslims are, at least a bit, and understand what Eid is. Prior to that, people didn't even know. So it's not just that Muslim students got a day off, but now we were also educating the public. We're educating the public about Ramadan and the days of fasting and how at the end of Ramadan we get to celebrate. We're educating the people about Eid al-Adha as well, about the Prophet Ibrahim and his story in Islam and how it resonates with other cultures. And we're letting people understand that Islam is an Abrahamic faith that is continuous from all the different prophets. So in a way, this was not just political, and it gave us many benefits. It allowed our students to take off with their families. It allowed them not to be harmed in school by missing exams and classwork and homework, but it also was a form of da'wah for the entire city of New York. I went to public school all my life. It was never fair that other people got to take off on their religious holidays and we were not. Now, is Eid holidays recognized throughout the United States? No, it's not. We were only able to achieve that in New York City because of our united front with all the different Muslims here. But in many states and in many cities, they're still fighting for Eid recognition holidays. Little by little, alhamdulillah, we're gaining that recognition and winning that fight. Please make dua for us this Ramadan, that Muslims across the United States and across the entire world are able to celebrate Eid, and that governments publicly announce and recognize that ability. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and I'll see you again for the next episode here on ITV to talk about topics relevant to all of us, inshallah. Jazakum Allah khair.